Everyone's seen these sort of things running fridges, lights, little things around a camper, but it's not very often that you end up in a situation where you're going to try and run a welder. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to put this thing right to the limit and see how hard we can actually push it and what it can really do.
I was about to say, I can't tell the difference at me.
G'day folks, this is going to be a review video on the Anker Solix F3000. Now the 3000 standing for the 3072 watt hour battery that this thing has, which is quite a lot of power and a lot of time that you can be running a whole load of essential things. And that can be out through the 240 volt sockets, which have a max of 2300 watt, but a total capacity of 3600 total load. Now, this unit is also expandable, so you can bolt on extra batteries and bring it up to 12 kilowatt hours, which is enough to run a small house for quite a while, but particularly good for camping and outdoor life or anything else. However, the way we use this thing is a lot more convenient and sometimes a lot harder. We use it for powering things like our little Starlink minis and recharging various tools that we use out in the paddock, and in particular down here in the cropping, a lot of units which are used for checking our losses on our grain. But it's got 230 volt out, which means that we occasionally might put it really to the test, because everyone's seen these sort of things running fridges, lights, little things around a camper, but it's not very often that you end up in a situation where you're going to try and run a welder. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to put this thing right to the limit and see how hard we can actually push it and what it can really do. So amongst the things that it's got, while you've still got all of your AC outlets, you've got DC out. Now, something that a lot of units I've found that are battery packs that have DC out is that they're limited on the capacity. So it's got a normal cigarette lighter socket, which is 12 volt, 10 amp, but it's also got a Anderson Mini or a 30 amp out. So that can do 30 amp at 13.4 volts, which is really, really useful. And then of course you've got your USB-C out, so at 100 watt per port, and then normal USB-A, which are things which are quite handy, especially for recharging small equipment like your phones and camera gear. It also means that this can power up my drone and my drone batteries, even for the larger drone, and keep on charging them. It's got a couple of connectivity features, such as Wi-Fi, so you can connect it to your home network and you can actually assess it and check your output and even control it through the internet if you're not home. So if you've got it out at a remote site that has the internet, you can see if your fridges are still working. And that'll also give you your input, load and usage. So one of the features of this that's not just for style is this white stripe across the top here is actually a light. Now, having a light on your little power bank is quite handy for working in the dark, particularly if the power's gone out and you're trying to switch things over and get them running onto this, if you're not using it in its UPS function. Other things to note are that it's reasonably hefty. It comes in around 40 kilos, but that's where these nice little wheels and this pop-out carry handle really, really help. So if we look at our inputs, we've got a large AC input, and so this connector, you can get a adapter which will let you charge it off EV chargers, so you can do high input and charge it out and about. You've also got a additional battery connector, and you've got a generator connector. So Anker can put a generator into it. On the back, and this is how you get your full potential out of its charging, is it's got solar input. So you've got a low voltage, which is up to 60 volts, and then you've got a high voltage, which is up to 165 volts, which means that you can actually load this up on AC charging and solar charging at the same time, putting 6,000 watts into it, which will charge it in 1.5 hours. All in all, it's a good unit, but let's push it to the limit, see what it can do, and it might just save the day in a workshop, out in the paddock, or somewhere where you cannot use a generator. Now, it's definitely not an alternative to a generator as a power source, but it certainly can get you a little bit out of Dodge. All right, so we've gone through some of the features and what this thing can do, but before we start welding with it, we're just going to run the little 5-inch grinder and cut these parts off this auger so we can make it straight again.
This little chestnut, AliExpress special, $50 delivered. So I've no idea how that works. But anyway, we grabbed it for welding out in the paddock with flux core wire, like gasless MIG wire. I personally prefer to use the stick, but sometimes on sheet metal, that's going to be better. Wait.
So it's supposed to have a 2,300 watt output from the 240 or 230 volt sockets that it's got, and it's underneath is where it's got its power draw.
Oh yeah?
It'll be interesting.
It'll make it f***ing yep.
Yeah.
Spin its little heart backwards. I was about to say, I can't tell the difference, that's me.
Right.
It was welding very nice.
It was going very nicely.
Have you worked out how to turn it off and on again?
Yeah, I think I can just hit the go button. 2,420 on the output.
On the wattage?
Yeah. $2,700, 3,100, zero.
Slightly more than zero.
2,700.
I got a fair bit further that time with the start-stop.
Yeah, well, that was actually kind of impressive. So this one's not from AliExpress.
Check if I got a 10 or a 15 amp plug on that.
It's a 10. So you've got maximum input at 240 volt, 33 amp.
It's slightly more than the 10 amp plug. Yeah.
So let's throw it in there.
Right, 110 amps. So 3.2 mil GP rod. You good?
Yeah, good to go. $2,300, $2,400, $2,450, $2,500.
Yeah, about that.
Well, that's pretty neat, Tom.
Been a while since you worked with me, hasn't it?
So smaller rods would do a pretty good job on that.
Hang on, I might have some twos over here.
So we'll see if we've got some kicking about. All right, good to go. $2,000.
That's more within its sustainable range, isn't it?
It can do 2,300 constant, so at the moment it's sitting around 1,900. Yeah, 1922. So sitting at 1732 on the by Bluetooth, but it's actually on about 1941 along that weld.
Well, got rid of a 2mm rod.
Completely ate it. And at that you could weld for an hour.
Oh, that's going to get rid of a
Fair few meters of rod.
yeah.
In terms of a get out of jail welding solution, because these power packs, a lot of people you see, like we know they can run a caravan, you know, your aircon, and that's pretty good, but also an Engel, Starlink, anything, that's not really high demand and that's not putting them really to the test. But running a welder off one of these, and some people say be careful about using an inverter and using a welder, but up at the station, that is all solar power off a lithium battery through an inverter. We're just looking at a slightly
I mean, that
different
hardly
scale.
ever catches fire.
It's never caught fire, Tom. There's a bit of wood there that I'm going to touch.
So I reckon about 90 amps is
the
what
limit.
your welder set at.
Yeah.
90 amps welded all right. But
What we've done is we've taken this thing to the absolute max of what you should really do.
yeah, you take it till it breaks and back it off or not.
Yeah. So we know that if you need to weld stuff with a 2-point,
I think they're 2mm rods.
2mm rods, don't go over 90 amps. And if you're using the My First MIG, just, yeah, if you turn it down a little bit or do inch by inch, seems to be okay.
Yeah, just quietly so you don't overheat it.
Yeah. Cool. So,
Or just go and grab your gen set and weld until you melt your power plug.
all right, so we fired her up, we got her going, and I was incredibly impressed with how well it performed on the welder. It is going to be usable out and about for a wide range of things and really pushing the limit with what you can do. We were pushing it to the absolute limit, and it still has got 90% battery in it. So it's going to be long lasting, it's durable, it's quite a nice package, and I think that it's certainly something I'm going to play with a lot and get to use and use it to its max use. They have got smaller and larger units as complete home backup units or home power solutions as well for anyone going completely off the grid. There is the capability to tee these in, so if you're not using them all the time, you can be using it to add capacity to your home. So let us know what else you reckon we could really push the limits on, and something that you'd like to see this used for. But that's that, and hopefully I'm going to get some more stuff out to you all, and see you on the next one.